Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another rock review show from the studios of Musical Peoples and Journeys. Say that in a grandiose sort of way. Welcome to my panel today, to Dave, to Ian, to Paul, and to our new guest, our new arrival. Welcome to Chris. Welcome everybody to the show. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
G'day.
So instantly, we show how commitment we are to this show. Live from Florida is Ian. Ian's on holiday, but he's beamed in at 6 o'clock in the morning in Florida to bring you his reviews of this month's album. So, what's the show all about? Well, we review all the latest rock albums, and we pitch two together, match them up, tell you what we think for our listening pleasure. Somebody commented the other day, is how do we rate our albums? Purely listening pleasure. That's it. How much did we enjoy listening to the album in question? Where would we spend our money? Which album of these two would we buy? And so, to kick us off, because we've got, hey, if you like what you hear, go to our channel. Tons of album reviews, interviews of upcoming bands. Really good. But today, we are focused on The Hive and their new album, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons, and they're up against Holding Absence and The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. What two cool album names we have here today. So, who are the Hives and their album? Well, the Hives are from Sweden, and they are they formed in 1993. The Hives are basically gaining traction in their home country through the 90s, rose to prominence internationally in the early 2000s during the garage rock revival. Their mainstream success came with the release of their second album, Veni Vidi Vicious, which contained their breakthrough single and signature song, Hate to Say I Told You So. The band is especially well known for their high energy and eccentric live shows, where music critics have handled them as amongst the best live rock bands of the last 2 decades. Right, The Hive. Right, we're going to be busy bees, and we're going to get straight to it, to the queen of all bees, Dave.
Queen? No, that's a bit rude, but there we go.
Well, just what I hear. Rumours.
But yeah, you are spot on when you say that live band, energetic. I saw them not that long ago live, and they are something to behold live. And this album does a good job to sort of bring that to sort of record form, fun and energetic. I mean, it's far from perfect, but, you know, good enough moments to keep you interested throughout. I did find that there were a couple of tracks where it loses its way. The Bomb was one track that stood out that just didn't need to be on the album. It was filler, really. But, you know, it's got its place, I suppose. Fast-paced opener, Bogus Operandi, and Countdown to Shutdown were highlights for me. Both of those have made my playlist. And yeah, if you're into your fast-paced rock with punk sort of feel, I think you'll enjoy this. It's definitely one to check out, that's for sure.
Right. Now, Ian, live from Florida. Welcome to the show. Ian, Hives, heard of them? Come across your listening pleasures of the past?
I've definitely heard of them, 100%. I love the fact you referred to Dave as Queen Bee and I've got the Minnie Mouse t-shirt on. Brilliant.
Yeah. You're definitely a worker bee, mate, definitely.
Fair enough.
You're out there sucking that pollen.
Wow. That's the tone, is it? Right, okay. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get this sort of abuse. Absolutely, that's why I do this review.
Absolutely right. 6, 10, to make the difference.
Yeah. So the Hives, yes, I had heard of them. I've not heard much of their stuff, to be honest, but I was aware of who the Hives were. And so, I held an open mind, because the Hives really isn't my type of thing from what I'd heard. But I'd only heard what had been on the radio, and so many songs we hear on the radio is nothing like the band. They just hit like a commercial edge or something and cashed in a little bit. But this album, Death of Randy Fitzsimmons, I agree, great name. The opening track, Bogus Operandi, fantastic guitar, drums, just building up and leading to what could be a really good sort of cover of Game of Thrones-esque type theme, building up, and it really got me excited for the album. It was a fantastic opening track. For me, the album then was fairly non-eventful, but I think it's well-rounded. And we were talking about, you know, what decides what we comment about, and it just comes down to taste and how we found the album. There's nothing wrong with the Hives. There's nothing wrong with this type of music. It's just not my type of music. Arctic Monkeys, Kaiser Chiefs-esque, but definitely their own vibe, without a shadow of doubt. Lots of distorted vocals, power bass guitar, thumping drums and guitars, that whole sort of rhythmic thing. Individually, in part, I like that sort of thing, but when it's together like that, it gets a little bit towards Oasis for me, in terms of the overall sound. They don't sound like Oasis, but it's that genre type thing, more punk, much more punky than Oasis. It was a pretty good album. It's just not my thing. The standout tracks for me, there were a few that I thought, actually, these tracks are quite like, and one of them, ironic, was The Bomb. So, Dave, obviously this is your thing. It's not really my thing. I think that says it all, right? Stick Up and, of course, What Did I Ever Do to You? I Love a Ballad was amazing. So, for an album of a genre I'm not too keen on, I relatively enjoyed it, but it's not my thing. If
Paul,
that's not too messed up for you.
That's right. No, not at all. Paul, the Hives then. Now I know you've heard of the Hives.
Yeah. So what can you say about the Hives? The fact that their dress code is only black and white, and that they haven't produced anything for 10 years due to the death of Randy Fitzsimmons, who wrote all their songs, but after finally locating and digging up his grave, found not his body but a casket full of new songs and material. Of course, the character is fictional, and the 10 years have been due to illness and getting older, which this album is primarily about. However, these so-called Swedish garage rockers have in this album invited us to a party that you more than likely would see The Mask, Mrs. Doubtfire, Joker, Batman and the iZombie team strutting their stuff. After all, the opening track, Bogus Operandi, is about going to a party and being eaten by zombies. In the death of Randy Fitzsimmons, you will find the Hives heavier, louder and faster than ever. Trapdoor Solution, which although is only 64 seconds long, gives the Looney Tunes cartoon and Banana Splits a run for their money. So does The Bomb and Crash Into the Weekend. Smoke and Mirrors as a punk element, which is spiked with bitterness, rarely seen on a Hives track. And then Stick Up sounds slower with a 50s big band sound, but there are mad guitar moments in it too. The more you listen to this album, the better it gets, and which in this case is the way the story goes.
Ooh. So, Chris, welcome to the show, your debut. So let's find out, what did you think of the Hives, Chris?
So yeah, I thought this was kind of a middle of the road album for me. It's the sort of stuff that I would sort of listen to, but it is on the faster end of what I'd be looking for. I mean, there's a couple like as Ian said, What Did I Ever Do to You? That was it was a slower song. It had a bit more edge to it, which is definitely the sort of thing that I'm looking for. Smoke and Mirrors, as well as Paul mentioned, was a standout. But it's that kind of, considering that I have in the past listened to Slipknot and Ice Nine Kills, who are also relatively heavy, relatively fast. They've got that decent, powerful drum behind it. It's just a case of this didn't quite hit the same sort of note for me. But as an album in and of itself, the fact they've been away for 10 years, they've come back with something that certainly still shows the attitude they had in the past, but they've matured. As Paul said, it's to do with them getting older and trying new things, and I think they've done a pretty good job. But as kind of as Ina said, a couple of others, not quite the way the sort of music that I'd be going for. But yeah, a cracking album either way.
Well, this is all about a journey, isn't it? This is all about taking us in different directions and appreciating various different forms of rock music. I thought this was a really good album, really good. I enjoyed the countdown to Shutdown. I love the bomb. I absolutely adore What Did I Ever Do to You. I think it was a cracking. There were elements that I didn't quite like. There were some tracks that were a bit too punky for me or a bit offbeat. But it's a thoroughly enjoyable album. This really enjoyable. When you play in this space, you either go two ways. You end up going kind of prog rock indie kind of style, and you don't know whatever. But you've got to be catchy. You've got to be catchy. If you're going to hit this fast tempo, it's got to be catchy. There's a lot of really cool, catchy stuff in this album. Really solid. Really, 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 really good. So wow. Okay. Solid start then, guys. The Hives, right, well, they are up against Holding Absence and their album, The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. So who are Holding Absence? Well, the band, for God's sake, where have my notes gone? They are from Cardiff in Wales. Oh, Paul, we go back to our homeland here. This is our home turf, is it not? From that side of things as well. Members of the band are Ashley Green, Lucas Woodland, Scott Carey and Benjamin Elliott. The band released its initial collection of singles in 2017, so a relatively new band, as well as a split EP with a band called Load in 2018 before finally released their debut record, Holding Absence, in 2019. They're signed to Sharp Tone Records. A vocalist and lyricist, Lucas Woodland, explained the meaning behind the album cover on social media, mentioning it to be a compilation of trilogy, embracing oneself and being part of an art project. Right, well, Paul, let's start with you then on this one, because hey, you're from Wales, you're from your home, our capital nation of Cardiff. Tell us a bit more about Holding Absence, and what did you think of The Noble Art of Self-Destruction?
Okay, so Holding Absence, a contemporary rock band, and they've delivered their third album, being the most complete and immersive body of work. It is an album of personal reflection and the theme of self-improvement. And while the musicianship is top-notch, and Lucas Woodland's voice is pleasant and emotive, and I appreciate the quality of the album, I found it too generic for my tastes, and it's something I would easily have on the background while decorating.
Wow, well, that's a little bit harsh. Chris, was this more to your taste?
Very much so, yes. This is more the sort of stuff I'm looking for. It's that slightly less pacey than what we had with the Hives, but the drum track, the musicians, and in fairness, the music, the singers. I actually wrote in my notes. There's more emotion in the lyrics with this from. I don't know. I apologize. I don't know the name of the lead singer, but yeah, they're very good. While avoiding going full on sort of scream mode the way that sort of 30 Seconds to Mars and Jared Leto used to. This is I would have said that convenient you said about having it on in the background while you're decorating. I did that with the Hives, and I stopped for Holding Absence because I was listening in. So it was definitely more to my taste, Holding Absence, than the Hives was. So
yes, that's right. That puts Paul back in his place. Good for you, Chris. Well done, buddy. Dave, Holding Absence, your cup of tea, my friend?
Yeah, no, I'm with Paul on this one. Not really my sort of thing at all. I found the singer to be a little bit whiny, I've got to be honest. It's not to say there weren't some redeeming qualities. Musically, I thought it was really, really good at times. There were certain things that they did, certain tracks where I'm like, okay, I can see where you're going with this. They do try and mix it up with some slower songs at times, but somehow it just ends up feeling a bit very samey to me. And as I say, I'm with Paul with what he said, very generic. Again, I've put here, could listen to it as background noise, but I wouldn't choose to listen to it. Not something I would go to, I don't think. But, if someone else put it on, I could quite happily listen to it. It's not too bad.
Shocking, surely, Ian. Let's balance the books here, or not. Find out. Because Holding Absence, my friend. Talk to me.
Well, personally speaking, the styles of the music between this album and the last was like driving on smooth tarmac after going down cobbled streets for hours, for me, in terms of how I felt. I thought the album has a really strong direction. It knows exactly what it's doing and where it's going. It is good emo rock. I think the one thing that really challenged me about this, and I will certainly be doing more speaking to people that this has affected in the past. There's a lot of talk about self-harm in here, as you would expect from, or not expect, but it kind of comes with a lot of emo music, particularly the song Scissors, as a standout example. Not knowing a huge amount, I think, is it one of those things where it's really good to have the conversation about something quite controversial and deeply, deeply personal? Or is it that whole thing of, is it encouraging?
For mum.
Is it encouraging people to, when they have a problem, explore that path? I don't know. I've got a very uneducated view about this, so therefore I want to educate myself in terms of that. I found some of the lyrics a little bit too full on for me. But in general, I think this is a relatable album lyrically for most people in terms of life feelings, confidence, low self-esteem, that disparity between how you can feel about yourself, but how others can feel about you. Like you feel really poor about something, and someone says, "Oh wow, you did a really good job there. You're really." Really fun person to be around or enjoy spending time with you, but that's not how you see yourself. And I think this addresses that issue really well. I thought musically it was fantastic. It's a really good rock album. The production on it, probably overproduced in a few places, but generally was absolutely fantastic, I thought. And the standout tracks for me were A Crooked Melody and False Dawn, which is a great track on its own, but just blends seamlessly into Scissors, which I think the song needs a setup because of what it's talking about. So for me, I really enjoyed this album. It's one of the first that really has challenged me on a musical level as well, in terms of taking that on and not just having it in a playlist, but wanting to do something about it as well.
Yeah, what did I think? Well, this is kind of a little bit split here, so which side am I going to come down? Well, boys, I'm with Chris and Ian. This is a fabulous album, absolutely fabulous. I loved it, really up my street, loved it. I couldn't agree more. A Crooked Melody and False Dawn both made my playlist. It's such a cool album, really immersive, great lyricism, great musicianship. Right up my street, cracking rock album, absolutely cracking. I thought this is really, 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 really good. And you're right, it's chalk and cheese, but obviously I could only listen to one or two songs pre-release to kind of match them up. And I think I kind of matched up because there were such cool album names as well, from that side of things. But I love this album. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, really good, top album. Loved it. Well done, the boys from Cardiff. You're a fellow Welshman, I'm behind you. Yeah, Paul. Anyway, there we go. Right, now we get to the all-important ranges. Now, as you will know, our rock chick Triss is not with us today. So what we've done is, she has listened to the album, so what we've done is, we have, me and her, we've took our scores and we've merged them together. So my votes is a combination of myself and Trish's votes. But let's go and find out what our panel thinks. Just a reminder, if they score more than 20, they get into our Hall of Fame. And possibly then, if they really score really high, because it's such a competitive year this year in terms of how great albums they are, will they get into our shortlist for Album of the Year? Well, let's start then. Let's find out. So we start with Dave then. Dave, the Hives.
4 for me.
Pretty solid. Ian. Sorry, you're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. I gave it a 3.
3. Paul.
5.
Whoa!
That's why I got the party lights on in the background.
5? 5? That's a super. I mean, that must be like only about your 9th or 10th, or 4th or 5th 5.
I think it's probably lower than that, Nige.
Wow! 5 from Paul. That's a really rare treat. Let's hope it's not a wasted 5 like Dave's 5. Right, Chris.
It was 3.5 for me.
3.5.
3.5.
Okay, I actually give it a 4. Trish give it a 3. So we've settled on a 3.5 for myself and Trish as well. Oh, this is going to be tight, isn't it? This is going to be tight. So we're looking at 7, 11, 16. No, 19. 19. I mean, that's still top 50 of albums, I think, anyway. But just short of our Hall of Fame. No, mate, if it wasn't for Trish and that Ian, right, we'd been there, Paul. We'd been there. We would have been there. So close. Right, let's find out who's going to win this Battle of the Bands then. So, holding absence, Dave.
2.5.
Oh, you scum. Ian.
Me? 5!
5! Woohoo! 5 from Ian. Wow, I wasn't quite expecting 5, but there we go. Paul.
Fantastic.
2.5 from me.
2.5. Chris.
It's a 4 from me.
4. I actually give them a 4.5. Trish was a bit more on the fence. She gave them a 3.5, so we ended up on a 4. Wow, just cracking that one. So we got 8, 13, 18. Solid score though, isn't it? Not quite onto Hall of Fame, but who would buy where? Well, me and Trish, we would buy Holding Absence. Chris would buy Holding Absence. Dave would buy the Hives. Paul would buy the Hives. Ian would buy Holding Absence. Therefore, the winner, even though the score was higher for the Hives, so it's a nicely split thing. We would buy Holding Absence, but we'd probably go and watch the Hives. That's how I can only describe it, really, from that side of things, anyway. But there we go. So congratulations to the Hives on winning the battle. To Holding Absence for winning the Battle of the Bands in terms of how much. But it's unusual, this, isn't it? In terms of buying, we buy the one with the less score, but the Hives scored higher overall. So there we are. Anyway, so congratulations to both albums. What a cracking, both two really cracking albums. So you didn't quite make the Hall of Fame, but just short. But even so, what a great show. So anyway, thank you very much to my panel, to Dave, to Ian, to Paul, and to Chris on his debut show. And we certainly hope if you like what you've heard, please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave your comments if you agree or disagree with our views of these two albums. And hopefully you tune in again. Thanks very much. Keep on rocking out there. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios. I love that. Yeah. Adios.